Drunken Love. Oh no, it went live as well. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 30. Almost, well, a little bit older than me, may I say. But, episode 3, the big 3-0. Lucy's not here tonight because she's sat over there.
Liam made me play Destiny.
I didn't make her.
I'm stuck in a limbo.
Right, cool. No, so we've had an update, a big update today in regards to hiving and whatnot, and new Forsaken Mission stuff. And I know there's a lot to cover tonight. So without further ado, I'm sure, drum roll, Mark, TSM has got some wonderful slides. I'm not actually going to do the drum roll, Mark. So.
He's waiting for it.
Yeah.
Mark.
Here he goes.
There we go.
It up.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are then, guys. Good evening to you all. So here we are, TFC episode 30, a little bit younger than Liam. It's the 21st September 2016. So what do we have in tonight's little pack? So we are going to go through in this slide pack. It contains slides produced by Andrew and just finished off by me. The Megaship hiving. I'll just let you know that basically we've just had Raken on actually in the pre-show. He's explained quite a little bit, and George is going to pick up on those slides because he's a geek and I'm not.
Thanks.
So, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
That's fine. Okay, the September FM changes, and there's quite a few, some pros and some cons. We'll go through that quickly. The new FM content, okay, then for this month. The VXP weekend, details about that, and then some bug fixing and tuning. Post those slides, which is about 11 slides basically. Then Ren's going to come up with a few slides right at the very end, and he's going to do a bit of a bass piece as well. So there we go. That's this evening's content on the menu. So we'll start it off then. So George, take it away.
All right. So
George of the jungle, George.
I'm gonna make Ren say my last name every single time now.
I'm the expert at that. So.
Liam, want to? Do you want to? We can.
No.
All right. So, Mark, are you locking onto your? Because it's not locked on for me.
I'll lock it onto Mark's screen. There you are, guys.
So they introduced today in the update these hubs that you can hive your megaships in, and what that means is you can essentially take your megaship and link onto this thing, and your alliance can either link to your ship or onto that hub again. I believe there's only a limit of 3 to attach straight to the hub, and then you have to start linking out onto the other ships. There is a limit. We were talking with Raken a little bit about that before, and right now it's a big limit. There you can have a whole lot of megaships, and it's actually going to allow for a lot of strategy to come into play. Let me see if we can go. I'm going to try and go by how the slide is right now. It is an alliance thing. I know a lot of people complaining that, hey, you know what, I'm not an alliance, I got a mega hull, this and that. The whole mechanic is centered around being an alliance. So right now you're going to be an alliance of 1. You can hook up to the Nexus, you can have people attack you. It's not going to do much because, you know, to hive you got to have more than 1 person in your alliance. Once you start having the megaships attached, you're going to have this hive grid. And again, the grid is a set amount maximum. I don't know if they've come up with a final number as yet. When you do hook up to this hive, there's going to be modules that are going to be coming out that your mega hull can actually help a hived mega hull that's attached to you. We don't know about the distances yet, how far over you can help each other or not. You do not have more than 1 mega hull to hit. If you go in to hit a hive, you're hitting just 1 mega hull at a time. Their attachments, I guess, can help the battle against you. So it's going to be kind of like Dig Dug. You can actually go in and start on the edge and start attacking different mega hulls and go through to try and get into either the middle or break the whole hive up if you dig right across the hive, depending on how big it is. You cannot attack a hull in the middle somewhere. So if you have like a grid of 3 by 3, you can't pick the middle one to try and break up the hive. You actually have to dig into and kill it. So you can, but you can dig across the 3 and break the top 3 from the bottom 3 if that's how it's set up. What's on the bottom of this one? The 3 megaships can directly link to the Nexus. That's like I was saying before. You can link three to the Nexus, and then after that, it's going to be slots. When you select a mega hull that's in this hive, you will have slots that you can pick. And I think is that on the next slide, Mark?
Yeah, it should be. Hang on 2 seconds.
Yeah. When you pick one of these mega hulls, you'll be able to pick a slot. It's like parking your car in a garage or something, or a parking spot. All you got is whatever's there. In the currently unlikely event, that 2 of you guys are going at the same spot at the same time, whoever gets there first gets the spot. It's, like at the mall. Sorry, you lose. I don't know that's going to be much of a big deal. There is going to be some strategy coming into play because of how you set stuff up. One of the things that we discussed earlier was whether or not you wanted to put your weakest player in the middle or your best player in the middle. And right now, it seems like putting your weakest player in the middle so they can build up their mega hull is a good idea. I don't know if that's going to hold true going forward. The plan for these things is actually huge, and it sounds really cool. So I would say, because there's a lot of people that have been really down about the mega hulls, and they don't want to, build it. I was actually going to park mine and not touch it until I heard this stuff tonight and saw this. It's actually invigorated me towards it a little bit more.
It's good.
I'm sorry if you guys could hear that. That was my kids just fighting. Sorry.
All right. So the thing I thought was quite good is it's basically like an onion effect. So that the hole that's in the center, okay, then basically is protected. You can dug through and get to that center hole if you want to, and completely ignore a left flank or a right flanking move if you think that one of the mega ships on that side is particularly strong. I'm hoping you can see the strength numbers of those mega ships, but I'm not 100% sure. But what's ideal is bear in mind, if you're hiving and you've got plus 30 ships in your hive, because those are the sort of numbers we're talking, and if that's center hull, overall you're going to win your battle. Everything you've just taken off all those other ships that are mega hull hived from the other alliance, that center ship that was really, really weak is all of a sudden going to get a stack load of bonuses, and he's going to get it all because it's only the person that initiates the hive that gets the points in a hiving effect. So just bear that in mind, okay? So it's only the one in the center that gets the goodies. Okay, so it's a great way of topping up some of your newer players' mega hulls as well in your alliance as well. So that's a good thing. Did you want to quickly cover the resupply with drones and that sort of stuff, George?
I actually was not entirely 100% sure on how the resupply worked. I know that from my understanding right now, if you go in and attack one side of the hive, and say the middle ship is sending its drones out to help that side, and someone attacks from the other side, it cannot help that side. It can only help one attack at a time. So this is where the strategy comes in with your alliance and alliance versus alliance battles. You now can actually try and break down the target, even a huge mega hive, doing this to try and weaken it as you're attacking it to get into everything.
Yeah, so it's an addition to the tactic.
Yes,
and I think timing is going to be everything with this. When to send in your 4 ships to assist and that sort of stuff. When to which ship to pick off, because obviously when you instigate the fight, although you're actually in your own battle, you're a one-on-one. You've got to think in the back of your mind, I'm actually part of a much bigger hive here, and I'm chunking off one sector in my one-to-one fight against a much bigger battle, and I must take into consideration that what I'm doing is going to have a knock-on effect as well.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too that I wanted to mention is that some of the additions that they're adding, like the drones, the first edition is actually going to help against fleet attacks. It's actually designed to, if you go in and attack and your hive sends out its drones, because you're in a hive and not, no one knows when they're going to be on and all that stuff, and you could have, Megaship and 8 players from the other alliance trying to hit you. When that drone comes out from your friend or your alliance buddy to come and help you, it actually will target the fleets first and not the mega hull first. So that should help with some of the, because everyone's coming in from behind now with the Apollos and just decimating mega hulls for little damage.
Yeah, so it's good. I mean, we're not going to read these slides, as you can tell, word for word, because obviously we'll just print off the and upload the PDF document. So, and this is the third slide then. So, yeah, no, it's good.
Am I already into it? I'm trying to remember the questions that I came up for Raken and cover them. We did the not more than the battle of time. You can't leave. Okay, that's another thing that's actually really important. If you enter into a hive and you are in part of the grid where if you left, you would orphan another fleet or another mega, you cannot leave. You can't leave when the hive is being attacked. You can't leave if you're going to orphan another hull. There are some limits, and I think they're still working a little bit on the mechanics of it so that everything works smoothly. The one thing I do want to actually mention to everybody, and I want some people to have a little bit of patience with several things. One, them bringing out the stuff, because it's a huge project. They've actually invested a whole lot into it. And two, remember, this is a dynamic type of mechanic where, as much as they want to, you really cannot test this on, a server they got at Kickside. This is something that is going to have, bugs when it comes out, because you really do need thousands of players doing it at once to find any issues. You can't have 20 guys, in the back office playing this and go, hey, all right, we got it all debugged. And I mean, everyone gets freaky and aggravated and mean and nasty when something comes out and it's quote unquote full of bugs. I'm telling y'all now, just from a programming experience, it's going to. It has to. There's no way not to.
This bit will come out like an alpha, not a beta, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I just
Not
don't
to mention performance issues, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I just don't want people to be really upset right away, or I just want them to have a little bit of patience. From my understanding, this is actually planned out to be really, really good. It sounds fun. I would like to have fun come back into the game like it used to be, and this sounds like it actually has a very good chance of doing that.
Are you trying to say you didn't have a lot of fun during the raid this weekend hitting targets?
Man, really, do we want to go there? Because
don't even freaking go there. We'll have a quick little chat about that in a minute.
I want to skip.
So the last point on this here. But the problem is there's so much technical detail about the manga whole stuff that when you try to get the information across, it takes a long time because there's a lot to get around your head and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So the last point I think really is, the bridge. So if the bridge is destroyed, it hasn't changed basically. You can't just go jump straight back into it. You've got to wait for repair, or you've got to repair it yourself and speed it up sort of stuff, But it's going to take, 30 minutes, I think it is, to fix a bridge. So
and it drops it does drop you out of the hive as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, and very much so. So you have to rejoin the hive and then find a slot as well. What I don't know is if they start digging through the middle of your hive to get to your center ship, whether you can join right on the periphery or whether you can join further in, I'm not really sure, so to be honest. But there we go, that's it. Right, so there we go, that's Megaships 1, 2, 3. Like I say, it'll be in the PDF, and those that don't want to do it, skip past those documents. But I think as they release more information, and George and I did the same thing, it'd be really nice if they could built the whole damn thing and then just slowly drip fed it and built it to a massive crescendo. But unfortunately, it's a live thing. They're building it as we're going and that sort of stuff, and it's constantly changing and they're developing it as it's going on. So but we're getting drip fed. It's just it's really frustrating for those that actually did take the dive and went early and did that small TLC that was on there and that sort of stuff. That they still feel that maybe they're getting a bit of a raw deal, and actually they may be justified in that. Okay, it's not for me to say because I'm still in the building mode myself at the moment. So,
right.
Okay, let's flip back to more traditional stuff, I think.
Yeah, I'm just feeling a lot better about it now after this and after that discussion than I was at this time last week.
Hopefully we'll get him on for a show at some stage, and even if it's not a Tuesday or a Saturday show, we might get him on for a separate show just about the mech holes, maybe. Those are particularly interested in just tuning in for that particular one show. We'll see if we can get that sorted out, I think. It'd be a good idea.
Yeah,
that was a suggestion in chat as well. So, right, let's move forward, shall we? So, September FM changes. Here we go. So, what are the changes? Right, well, the introduction of a new test target, the 102. New. That's a very loose term, okay? Because I don't think it is new. All I think it is the 107 with a different number at the end of it, and it's reduced in points.
I said that last month, and I said that was probably what it was going to be. Unfortunately,
well, it is.
It seems like it is. But however, Doom Rooster just came out and said that they're going to reduce the difficulty by 20%.
Well, you do something because it is basically a 107 target. I've just done a stack of them just to do some tests, as you can see the points there. And actually, I stopped and did the damage, and I got a mirror image damage from a 102 as I did to a 107. Absolutely mirror image. But You know, a
The
third of
problem that I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on. Just so the points payout, as it stands at this moment, you'd be looking ludicrous to go and test and try. You know, the only reason you do a 102 at the moment is because if you're able to hit the 109s, you'd smash out 3 109s and do a 102 and finish off your FM. Job done.
Yeah.
You know.
See, the only problem I have with them being the 107s is the amount that you got to hit, because our complaint is always the shows take too long. That's why we got the 107. Great, we figured out a way to do 107s. Awesome. It was what, 5 of them to do the FM once? Now it's 12.9, so it's 13
as you got it down there, it's 12.93, and that stat I've rounded up those stats slightly, so it definitely includes. That's exactly what you have to do. Now you can do multiples of each other and that sort of stuff. The 87 has got easier, I have to say.
But the thing is now if you have to do the 102s instead of the 107s, your FM has now doubled or more than doubled in cost in either time or money.
But George, I don't think that's the angle. I mean, at least for me, the whole reason for that was people at the top end of the tech curve will jump into the 109s, and now you do your FM even faster.
And the grind.
People who are struggling with the 107 today because they don't have punishers, because this or whatever, I was expecting the 102, and that's what Kixai had said, was going to be easier than the 107. So people who are not at the very high end of the tech curve would be able to hit 13 targets and actually get tier 5, because today, if you look at today before 102s and 109s, it's either you grind 87s like 37 times, or you have to do 107s. There was a big gap in between them.
Right.
Now, I was expecting the 102 to be more something in between an 87 and a 107, and now if it's exactly a 107 or a 107 minus 20% damage, is that going to cut for people who are not at the top end of the curve? I hope it does. I honestly don't know. I would have to get my second tier fleets and go hit a 102 after they tune the final version to be able to say anything about it.
I mean, I'll honestly say, don't forget, as it stands at the moment then, so they've gone in with a blank standard, right, this is a renumbered 107, this is our test suite, we're going to up and down and play around with that sort of stuff, and we're going to see where we want to settle with them, even if we don't bring them back even at all in October, because they may not bring them back at all. They haven't decided that yet, So they may be permanent, they may not be permanent, as it says in the bottom of the thing there. So let's find out. The point is, the data they collected from the 109s, after their trial, which they brought in twice in a row, the actual 109 that's now on the map is, again, far more difficult.
Yeah, but it still says subject to change, right, in the release. It's permanent on the map, but they may still adjust it.
Still tweak it, exactly. But let's just wait out. I mean, the problem is with the inevitable, as minor as they're trying to make it, there's always an inevitable power creep anyway, because, that's just the nature of the way a game is. You've got to have something that's got to be a little bit better than something, not just different. So there is going to be things that are coming out in the next few months that are going to be a little bit more powerful in some respects, and people are still building some ships what they maybe have not have built before, like, the Harlock Citadel and that sort of stuff, and the Citadels that go with it.
But let's be clear, Mark. It's as far as FM is concerned, based on the discussion we just had with Raycon, there's not going to be any new hulls being released in the next few months through Raid that will be aimed at doing FM better. We'll have to do FM with the hulls we have out today, right? So it's, either Citadel or Punishers or Berserkers or Novas. That's the stuff people have to use and build if they don't have it yet, or rank or whatever, to do FM. None of the new raid prizes in the coming months will help you do FM better. No,
without a doubt. The only thing that also can, and I haven't been able to test and prove this yet, but it says there, will P8 times 2 VXP. Okay, well, I can't actually really guess, apart from the fact that it had 4 ships in it, how much VXP you were getting on the old 107s. So if somebody wants to test that and put that on somewhere on our page, go and hit a 107 if you can find one, okay, and then go and hit a 102 and see the difference in the VXP payout when you dock. That might be interesting if you're really that interested. I might do it myself for the weekend, but it does say we'll pay out times 2 VXP. Okay.
I do have to disagree with you guys. I'm a little upset with the change, because honestly, I had a fleet right when they changed it to the 107. I've not touched it since. I've not invested anything at all in changing my FM fleet. So I am going to be either going to 102s or I'm going to have to refit something to do 109s. I don't have a Citadel fleet. I'm going to be using, Vendettas probably.
Yeah, Vendetta with a tank, well driven.
That works.
Should do the trick. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the last 109 test with the Vendettas. I did it with a Dante's Nova Storm, which I touched in the corner, and a single Punisher tank, and it worked fine. So I'll be testing that, and I'll do a couple of videos maybe this weekend. I'm not going to start my main second run yet, so I'll do a couple of videos if it works out quite nicely. I've seen a couple of videos on our page already, actually, with people doing
already.
So,
a lot of people hitting them already.
but long and short of it is basically the plan is to remove the 107s altogether, okay, and by the end of this month. So just bear that in mind. So as I've already suggested to a couple of people, you ought to at least have a go at some of the other targets. Even if you've already got up to the 349 million point mark, at least have a dabble at one of these new 109s and just see what you think you might need to then improve on your fleet. Because even if you die, you're still going to get some points, and hopefully it'll just tip you over that 350 million point mark as well.
I'm kind of... I was just going to say that I'm kind of glad to see the return of the 109s, because when these Forsaken missions came out, the Citadels were always meant to be the best fleet for them, and it turned out that it wasn't. It turned out the Punishers were because of the arc missiles. So for me, this is like a correction of how it should be, as opposed to a change.
Yeah, so a lot of people didn't like the 109s, and then all of a sudden now they like the 109s. The 109s have come back in because they were popular and that sort of stuff. So we just need to slightly adjust maybe to the design of them a little bit more, and then like I say, it hasn't settled, as Ren is saying. So let's just let it bed in.
I was just going to chip in and say, to put this in perspective, I think all the player population who's just making tier 4, right, is not affected by that change, because probably they were hitting 87 and below, right, or just clipping the top of 107 or something like that. You can still clip the top of 109, or even the and people who are the very high end probably already have what it takes to hit the 109 anyways. I think it's just the people in between who just for months got the message from everybody, oh, build Punishers, build Punishers, build Punishers, and now all of a sudden they built the Punishers, and I was like, oopsies, it's not Punishers anymore. It's
well, actually,
even 87s though is like for example, Lucy is quite, I would say, has the fleets of a mid-level, and she can do 87s with Rhinos. Now, if you were committed as a player and wanted to hit tier 4, I don't think that 36 hits is out of the question, to be quite honest. And back in the day when Forsaken missions first come out, I used to hit 27s on auto for free, and I used to have to hit hundreds of them. So
yeah,
I don't think 36 hits on an 87 is out of the question. And if Rhinos can get them, Rhinos must be the most offered hull in the game for the last year. I mean, it's literally everywhere. So
and the 87s are easier as of today, right?
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they've changed the dynamic of that completely.
So I agree. Hitting tier 4 with 87s is what, 5 hits, pretty easy, 50 million points and done, right?
That's good uranium, good prizes,
Yeah, it is.
And if you can keep up on tier 4, it's the moment you're up to date on tier 4, you're pretty much getting 4 tokens or 5 tokens a month, 2-day tokens. So that's what, 8 to 10 days of free shipbuilding time that you get, right?
So the point is,
I think a lot of people are still screaming for a dry dock. They miss the fact that the dry dock came in a different way. The dry dock is the tokens, right? Yeah, but you gotta go get it. I mean, even if you don't do tier 5, if you're up to date on tier 4, it's 8 to 10 days every month of free shipbuilding time in a game where now building things takes maybe half as long as it used to take a year ago.
Definitely.
I know the building cost in the game has dropped dramatically for me. But I think we're at a stage where like the more you put in, the more you get, the better you get out. Like if you work hard early on to get that fleet and get it built, and then you're going to basically save for the next 8 months. That's kind of where the game is now.
But that's the build smart concept. That's build what you need, not what you want.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Well, they should line up in theory, the two things.
Yes, no, agreed, mate. Agreed. So yeah, I think so. The fact that the damage in the 87s has come down and the points is nearly 10 million there, as you can see. You're right. You can smash out a few 87s there with a set of Rhinos and that sort of stuff. Stop, pause. You get 3 days to do that, and then crack on. you know, and then do it the second time round, and you're going to get then those quite reasonable build tokens at least, you know, by this time next week if you're up to speed and that sort of stuff. So that's good. Right, okay, so there we go. So
move on.
Yeah, that's the targets. So Liam, I know you've not really had a great chance to look at this one. So I know Ren likes this one.
No, I mean, I haven't had a great chance to look at the update today, but I kind of already knew I'd seen what was coming already, as I think we all have done. So it was, this is a great one, the solar reinforcements. I didn't actually know what this one was going to be until we've seen the stats on it. But yeah, I mean, absolutely great, because it's an armor that you can equip that costs no base power and instead gives you base power. So pretty much every turret I own is going to be full of it.
Yeah, I saw Ren's little post here on. I'm sticking this on every effing turret, like, you know. And I agree.
I mean,
not just targets.
All my back turrets in the Central Island, they have no armor at all. I'm going to armor every single one of them.
Anything that will take this is worth putting, because you're going to get max base power plus 50. It's not going to use part of your base power. There's no base power draw, and you're going to get armor points as well. Yep. It's a win-win, isn't it? So, you know, you could almost, and at 15, you know, you're going to get 45. You put 3 of these on, you're going to get 45k addition.
I'll keep collecting base parts, and I'm not going to say I'll do every single one of them instantly, because I won't be doing that all day long. But you know, you can keep a good pace.
Chop away at them, yeah. But it's a win-win.
It's a great little tech, actually. I'm really glad to see this come out. I mean, it's kind of like a win-win regardless.
Yeah, as Rainmaker's just said in the chat, mate, he's starving of base point power, you know, and I think we all are. You know,
I'm starving of base, yeah.
Yeah, I am as well. I've been taking things off my towers and off my turrets and getting yourself, well, what can I do? I can't afford that. I can't do that. And, you know, you can put this on your OP for a start, because I've got no armor points on my OP whatsoever.
Yeah. You can put it on everything.
An entire turret to recover 6,000 base power that I can distribute to the others, because I honestly think I'll be better off with short one turret, but all the ones I have left will be at maximum potential, than having a whole bunch of turrets kind of like half done.
Yeah, I've got maybe 5, maybe 6 turrets still at level 6, and my base power is currently at 115k. So there's no chance I'm going to be able to fit even maybe 2 more.
I already have some level 7 turrets that I cannot equip the transformer because I have no base power left.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the concern, isn't it? I mean, I'm very fortunate.
The thing is, so no, I was just going to say, I mean, my only, like, even if you put that armor on everything in your base, would you even get 1,000? You know, what are we talking here? Is it big enough? But I know.
I'm not even going to say all turrets. I'm going to keep it simple. 10 turrets with 3 free slots. That's 30 of those. So 30 times 50. That's 1,500. That's what you get if you put these on the 3 armor slots of 10 turrets.
And your OP as well, which we know with the
and the OP. You can get 1,600 power. Max power, you know, which is enough probably to put, I think, 1 or 2 transformers. Are they like 800, something like that? I don't remember.
But it's something for nothing as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, and I'm not going to complain. The frontline turrets are going to get an extra 45,000 armor points, which is a steal, you know, if you're 11-7. And unfortunately for me, I did that last TLC where you got the Deadeye Executioners. I already had the Deadeyes, but I went through and got those extra build tokens as well. And what a difference that's transformed my base. Because they were 7 days, and you got 5 times 7 days. So I've just actually, all my islands done now for level 7 turrets. You know, it made a huge difference to me. It sped me up massively. So that was a real win-win for me. So we're up for this one. That's good. Okay.
I don't think anyone in the BP world was going to complain about that armor.
No, I'll be surprised.
Well, only the people who won't get it because they're not doing tier 5.
Well, true. All the people that say they want more, that's not enough base power.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So there we go. Splash Dispersion System 1 and 2. Okay.
So this is the one that threw me, because I actually thought that this was going to be a ship special.
I did initially when we heard about the first chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to do what it says it's doing, but I thought it was going to do it for ships as a ship special, as opposed to actually being a building tactical field, which is kind of threw me a little bit that it's a tactical module.
So it's a range-based splash reduction module. That's what it is, basically, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Looking at it. So as it says there, splash damage reduction by 15% with a target range, with a field effect, basically, if you want to call it that, of 80.
Now,
so what's
that? Is there a bonus for putting this on any particular building?
Wow, I see what you're saying. I don't think so, unless.
I don't think there is.
Sometimes there's warehouse OP, and then one of them is like advanced lab and naval lab or something. And
yeah, it usually says on the BP though, does it not?
It would say on the BP, yeah.
It's interesting. It says affects all ships in any state, which is interesting. So even in overload, because when they get the overload bonuses and that sort of stuff, sometimes like the Harlock Citadel, if it's in an aura with some of the other ships, because it gives you that effect. So it only takes one of those ships to goof it up and get inside of this thing, and all the other ships will be cut down by that percentage of their splash. So if you're going to get, I don't think this stacks though, does it? Because can you imagine if you had a cluster of 3 turrets?
That is like if you're being attacked by vendettas and they're raining mortars on you, and they have a plus 100% splash. Now I don't know if it's going to be, instead of plus 100% splash, it's going to become plus 75 when they hit in that circle, in that field. Mm-hmm. Or if you first apply the 100% and then you subtract 15, which makes a difference, right? But either way, I mean, what you're doing there is when the attacker aims at one target, a turret or a ship in your base, the splash kills of stuff that's around will be less effective if that field is in effect.
Mm. I just want to comment there. It would be nice to see whether it's
Furies, right? I mean, you're being attacked by Furies, and the Furies have a splash on their scatter guns. You're going to be reducing that splash.
Right, but only for ships, though, correct?
Ships in the zone of that field, which is a field of 80.
But not buildings.
No, this goes on a building, so...
It goes on the building, but I'm saying it only affects ships. On a building,
but the splash damage reduction is only effective to ships.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Not yes. But 15% is small, so I would imagine you can stack. At least I hope you can stack. I wonder if this is going to be something that triggers friendly fields. Do you know what I mean?
No, it says right there, resonance trigger, no.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, that was the first thing. That was the first thing I tried to find out, Liam. Man, I was like, man, I'm gonna put that next to all sorts of stuff. Nope, it doesn't, unfortunately.
And I mean, it's not a big deal, right? Because in some cases you have like plus 200, plus 170% splash. So cutting by 15, it's really. I mean, you put a Molotov Maiden screw on your attacking fleet, you get plus 33% on top of whatever you have. So now this field only cuts half of the crew.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't cut splash. It cuts splash damage.
Damage, yeah.
Think of it like a reverse DOS crew.
So if a mortar lands and doesn't land directly on your ship's head, but lands next to it, then that ship's going to be caught in that splash damage.
You're right. The splash range, the radius doesn't change. It changes the damage. Okay.
Right. From that radius. Yeah. That's the way I looked at it as well, to be honest.
So 15% of a mortar that does 1,000 is not a lot. But if you're calculating in factors of explosive resistance and assault deflection, then
honestly, that's one of those who have to see some people put 2 or 3 of them maybe in a base. I don't think one's going to make a big difference.
I think 3, and if they do stack, that'd be great.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, is the question becomes this, and it actually will change whether or not one is very effective or not. Where does the deduction come from? Does it come from before you do the ship deductions? Or does it come at the end of the calculation? If it comes at the beginning of the calculation, on 1,000...
It has a more effect.
Yeah, on 1,000 damage
drop. Come first. I mean, you should stack
That's what I think, too.
Yeah. Because we all know when they do the math, deflection comes last of all. Before deflection comes turret resistance or turret damage, like you have siege battery kind of stuff. Then it's the ship resistance, right? So this should come along with ship resistance, I would think.
Well, then it could potentially take certain explosive weapons or any splash weapon, including cannons as well. I mean, it could take any kind of weapon that does deal splash that people use.
Cannons, scatter guns.
Right. It could take them to the damage threshold.
Right. I'm just saying that the way the mechanic is done is going to be kind of important to find out whether or not actually that would be better than we think it is right on first blush.
Yeah. So I flipped back one quickly because Laredo's just been in the chat there, and he said solar reinforcement build time is 1 day and 11 hours.
It's not bad.
It's not that bad.
1 day, 11 hours. So there you go.
It's not great, but not bad.
No, exactly.
So to give you an idea, I just did something on my base that was going to take 9 days and 10 hours. And I had 810,000 base parts. No, 830,000 base parts, and it did instantly. So with that 800 base parts, I could have done probably 6 or 7 of these then.
Well, obviously, don't forget to check out forsakencancel.co.uk, because obviously the BP Unknowns page is linked onto our page as well. And from there, then obviously put in the number of the time requirements on your your base parts, and it will give you the number of base parts to go and collect, and vice versa. So that's there. Or you can use a standalone page of his own, but it's on our page as well if you don't know how to get to it. So the calculator, it is not very high. You're right, Ren, without a doubt. It's definitely quite a low number of base parts to do that task. So anyway, right. So here we go then. So we've now moved on to the surprise or not a surprise. I don't know. We talked about this, didn't we? So shockwave plates 3 and 4. You've got definitely some input on these two, Ren, because I know we talked about shock plates 1 and 2 before, didn't we? About the
we did. I mean,
unknowns addition that maybe shouldn't have been there, but is there, and they're not going to change it. So.
So anyway, I think that helps a lot against launchers, especially against antipodes, but it helps overall against launchers. What I'm interested here is, and I'm just double checking, I have game open, I'm trying to check, because I think the repair time on this armor is actually much better than shockwave plate level 2.
Right.
And give me just a sec, I'm going to double check it. But I like that, like the 5,000 deflection, the deflection on shockwave damage. I mean, you put 3-4 of those, 4 of those, you have 20. That's enough, plus any radioactive resistance you may have. That's enough to pretty much neutralize any kind of shockwave.
So the only concern here is obviously, it's about the repair time. We're talking about 30. Do you know what? I mean, for 7 minutes difference, I would definitely go for 4 over 3, and I probably wouldn't even bother with 3, because 7 minutes is nothing. Because most of the ships that these affect actually only have 3 armored slots anyway, and it's the ones that normally have the 100,000 mark on them. So the extra armor defense you're going to get is nothing. That's not the point. It's this deflection that you're going to achieve is what it's all about. It's not about the weight of the armor. So, but just be concerned about that, because obviously that's going to add even if you have R&D 30 and you have obviously your officer on top of that, you only actually get to knock off about 7 minutes, 8 minutes at best. So it's still going to add an hour and a half to each one of your ships. And you've got a ship, let's say Furies, and you've got 5 of them. It's quite a long repair time.
It's massive. I mean, because the base Fury repairs in 30 minutes. Just by adding the weapons, because they add armor, you already bring each ship to 1 hour. Now, each plate, let's say you get the plate level 3, each plate will give you another 30 minutes. So if you put 3 plates, you're already talking about 2 hours and a half.
Yeah. So, and I'll just flip back quickly there. So about the previous special then that we've just been chatting about, there is a bit of an update there. So it says here basically that more splash news. Basically, splash, it does stack multiplicatively, assuming appropriate placement with overlapping fields. You can cut splash damage by about half by using 5 of them. So I know people group one of their countermeasure sort of like.
But then you got to find buildings covering the ships where you're not using fire support, and I'd rather keep using fire support on most of them.
Yeah. Again, it's just more options, isn't it? So and it depends. Not every weapon comes with splash. So there we go. So that was the last surprises. VXP weekend, as we know. So just moving on, this is the penultimate slide basically. So starting on the 23rd, runs at 9 a.m. PDT, and it goes through for 72 hours. So basically it goes through for a day and a half, i.e. ending at 9 p.m. the next day. So Legion Assault Forces, as we always know, but there's 2 new Tier 6 Reaver Armadas. Legion Assault Forces and Reaver Armada targets will spawn, as it says the time there, for 36 hours, and they will start on the hour and alternate between the 2 every half-hour slot. So on the hour every half an hour, and then back to the original target again on the hour again.
And just a reminder, they spawn by the dubs.
Yeah, buy the dubs. Just if you're thinking about going looking, okay. Elite salvages again in the salvage fleets will pay out double of their normal VXP payouts. So bear that in mind. And as it says there, so the Reaver target's a new one. This is supposed to be a precursor to maybe next month's raid targets. Okay, so bear that in mind. Even if you don't need to rank something, I suggest you might go on and hit one of these or view somebody hitting one of these. The removal of the death weapon from the targets is being done. Okay, for this BXP weekend. The removal of the subsonic caviter fields from the Reaver scouts, okay, has been done. Stealth detection, obviously, of the scout ships will now trigger a movement, but NPC ships will only fire then torpedoes, basically, on ships that have been detected. Okay, so that might make life for people a little bit better. And in addition, bases, it says there you can see that the explosion surface weapons, okay, ships that are equipped with the concussive torpedoes, and special new explosive torpedoes. I don't know what that's supposed to mean because I don't know what explosive.
Well, I mean, these are like prototypes of next month's tier 6, aka elite targets, right? So as you remember, the elite target last month, the 100, had that hovering mortar, right? The killer mortar. So they're trying different things here, where the mortar will not be there, but there will be these explosive torpedoes, and that's a way of them saying, hey, all the build setup you have with very high explosive resistance is still important.
Oh yeah, it's just a different way of delivering the payload, isn't it?
It's just not going to be hovering, waiting for you to surface. It's apparently going to hit you when they see you, kind of thing.
Here's the catch that I have with the problem with that is that it actually says concussive torpedoes, and you know, our concussive resistance was not as high as our explosive resistance last raid. I mean,
pretty much that's consistent, yes.
So you know, I'm leery of this. I'm very leery of it because obviously they're going to have to add. I mean, they're going to have to add thermal. They're going to have.
Well,
to
it's interesting.
Well, that's actually in the release notes. They said that
well, it was
thermal rings will be visible.
Yeah, it will have an indicated thermal range to make it easy for you to see. It doesn't say what the range is going to be.
Thermal.
It'll be visible. It was a visible thermal range. I copied and pasted this out of the release. Listeners want to quickly jump on the Kickside page and have a look, but I didn't. I copied and pasted this out, and it was in the original one, and I think it was even taken out, or it's not just come across in the slides. Maybe than Andrew did them. I'm not sure, but I did see the word thermal myself. So basically,
I saw that the thermal rings would be visible
instead of because they've removed the subsonic caviter fields, and you wouldn't know then when you're too close. You've got to have something there to give you a hint as to when you're getting close to these targets. So, and it was the thermal ring that was going to be showing instead. I just don't know the range of that thermal ring. That's all.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know how or if Kicksai will be collecting any sort of feedback, but I think they, of course, based on the data, they probably saw that participation last raid was very low, and people were not interested in the targets.
We had a 30% drop in attendance on the raid.
Yeah, I mean, there were people in my alliance who actually had the ships to be hitting the targets, just didn't want to because it was way too boring, right? Let's face it. I mean, some people say, I don't want to be doing that with my weekend.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think many of us called it, though, didn't we? A lot of us called that. We said that the raid was going to be like that way before it even happened.
Let me put it this way. We, people playing the game, called it. Somebody at Kicksai who maybe doesn't play the game the way we play had a different idea. I don't know, right?
Even members of the Kicksai team called it and tried to do something about it.
Some of them didn't, but they were not the winning side, let's say.
The thing is, everything. I liked the price structure. I liked the raid storyline. I loved the raid video. I loved the Reavers being back, but there's just something about it just isn't right. And the targets themselves and maybe this whole setup of what we're hitting, it's just not right.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was everything to blow, right? I mean, completing an A set or tier 5 set with Tiger Sharks, which were the ship indicated for that level, took me an hour to score 1.7 million points.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm okay with, you have to grind, but that's kind of ridiculous, right?
I think
it is.
Part of that was that, and part of it was the fact that people had to come to terms with the fact that you can't use subs the way we used to. I mean, the Hellwraith you did not use like a typical sub at all.
It was an aquaplaner in the end.
You mean the kamikaze sub?
I wouldn't even go that far. I just think the targets are just plain boring. Here's my expectation, okay? You tell me it's going to be a skirmish. My expectation is something like the Revenge Raid in January, where my enemy moves. They're fast ships. They're moving around. They have their moving patterns. I got to adapt to their patterns, but they move. It's not a siege target where everything is static.
Yeah, but why would you expect that if they gave us a dumbfire weapon?
I was going to say that doesn't work with a dumbfire weapon.
Well, I'm just.
I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed
the whole concept. I'm just saying, after many months of hitting static targets, for instance, when the Legion cycle came over and the assault targets had some moving ships, I was happy. Hitting something that moves, right?
Yeah.
And now we're back to something that doesn't move. And it's boring. That's my point of view. Sorry.
Cool. Right, so we'll just do the last slide because I want to get your piece in as well, Ren. So you're going to get ready with your slides, buddy, and then I'll just do the bug fixes and tuning then. So it says here, players will no longer be forced to scrap a ship that has become overweight due to item changes. Okay, and there was a couple of issues where somebody was like 1 ton over or 5 ton over and that sort of stuff, and the only thing they could do was scrap it.
It happened to me. I had to open a ticket in July. My target sharks were overweight. Kickside support told me not to log in my account for like 12 hours. They went in, scrapped my ships, rebuilt, re-ranked, and they solved it. But yeah,
it's a fix. Problem. But this might be a fix that's come too late. But I think in future, intent, if something's about to be adjusted, I think in the future this won't be a concern from that point forward, or it shouldn't be. So,
but I still think they should compensate the player. I mean, if you build something that was valid, they make a change. Okay, now I don't have to scrap. But if I have to spend a day refitting, why should I pay for that?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, because it was fine at the time, wasn't it? Yeah. And what's the dynamic that's changed that's made it overweight? There shouldn't be anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's see how that rolls out. We'll keep an eye on that one, okay? So it corrected a rounding issue with a concussive damage bonus of the stat, basically, for the Frostburn Interceptor. For some reason, it was at 39 and not 40. I didn't notice that personally, but yeah, okay. So anyway, it's a rounded figure. It's they round down, round up, didn't they? So obviously, when it rounds up, it will say 40, and round down it won't. So obviously, it was 39.4 or something like that, and not 39.6. So it wouldn't round up. So now it's been done.
Just a quickie there before we jump on to the next one there, Mark. Sorry to interrupt. Laredo did say in the YouTube chat there that the thermal, they haven't actually decided if they are going to be putting it in yet or not.
Right, well, that explains it why I saw it in the pre-release notes, and when I just put these notes up, it's not there. So,
and if they do decide to, he said, sorry, direct quote, it hasn't totally decided if it's going to be in them, and if so, how it will be implemented.
Yeah. Okay, well, that explains why then we saw it in the pre-release notes, and they didn't, and it's not up on these slides because Andrew took it from the latest version, so maybe it's in and out, then in and out sort of stuff, So,
and by the way, just to be clear, it's not the Kickside that the targets won't have cavitator fields at all. The scouts won't have the intermittent cavitator fields. It doesn't say anything about the Hulk firing the cavitator mortars. That should still be there, I think.
Right, but I'm guessing they have got to mitigate the ghost crawler. I mean, there's no way they're going to let that happen again.
Don't give them
I don't
say that.
See, George, I'm not so sure. It took so goddamn long. It was not cost effective to use a ghost crawler. It took too freaking long.
Man,
the mitigation of the ghost crawler is already the 400% modifier.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
The fixed time having to get one.
Ren, that's absolutely not even an issue, because if you went in there and sat next to each one of the things and killed it down and had another one next to you so you could change your target, you could bring it all the way down to almost dead, walk out of the entire thing with over 1 million points and not a scratch on you.
Yeah, but but you still built it.
I don't know.
You still got all your shards.
Look, it's Godzilla.
Hey, all I'm saying is, look, you need to feel a bit sorry. Us poor ghost crawler owners out there.
Man, here we go.
We really had to struggle and grind this one out. And
I did. It's taken me 2 years to get one, but there we go. Not living out for 2 years.
Enough sympathy being put our way for this.
Okay, so number 3 then, we'll just shut with that, and I'll kick George in the nuts later. Okay, so fix an issue where speeding up repairs of the damaged mega hull module after moving your base to a new world would result in an SOS. So yeah, apparently every time you went to speed up your things, you change location, all of a sudden you got an SOS. So if you continue to experience this issue, it should clear up next time he's moved. So it's a trailing correction, this one. So it should sort itself out when you've moved once. So you may be experiencing this once more, but then after that you shouldn't experience it again. If you do, ticket them. Okay, Reagan loves them. Next one then. So fixed a rare bug where the refitting of a ship could incorrectly be moved to the storage and then also result in an SOS. I personally didn't get that one. Has anybody noticed that one personally?
It's very, I mean, no, it's very, very rare. I mean, what I'm trying to say is you put a ship in your shipyard, it's refitting. You hit, now you go on your dock and you hit storage. The ship that's refitting shows up as available to be moved to storage.
Oh.
Got you. All right. Okay.
Because it's not in any fleet at the moment and it's full health, so it qualifies for storage.
But
Now you get that ship and you put that in storage. Now when the refit ends, your game locks, gets in SOS because it doesn't know what to do, right?
See the logic in that, yeah. Okay.
So now they fixed that. If the ship is in the shipyard refitting, it's not going to be available to be stored.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. Okay, so that's it in this slide session. Okay, and as the bottom, the disclaimer where all things are subject to change. There's going to be a lot of fluidity, I think, this month. So please bear with it while they adjust the 102 target, while they mess around a little bit with maybe the 109. They're definitely going to look at some of the 87 still and that sort of stuff. So it's not it's a hot fix as they're going along. So and there were a couple of hot fixes out today when people had a few issues connecting with the battle screen, getting on, that sort of stuff. There were 2 or 3 hot fixes that came out. Not all announced, but there definitely was a few because I spoke to Rick about them as well. And I know Doom put something up as well on the forums because I read it myself. So there we go. Right. Anyway, so I'll shut up. I'll close this one down. And Liam, if you wouldn't mind then putting Ren's up, that'd be great.
I have my slide set. No worries. Quick, just something we got before, and again, disclaimer, subject to change. But we asked 2 questions to Raken. One of them was a follow-up, and George actually asked that one about the low drop rate in dubs. Remember that, George?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
So what they said, I mean, I'm going to summarize here. So Laredo actually followed up on that question that came in our page. Asked the developers, they took a look. Nobody adjusted the probability of blueprints being awarded. So now they're kind of scratching their heads and like, okay, what's going on here? Is it because we added more blueprints? Is something else changed? Is it some calculation we overlooked? So they're looking into it, but intentionally no changes were made to the probability. I mean, I think that's fair to say. Did I miss anything, George?
No. They actually looked into it. They looked at the code that actually dealt with the probability of drops after you completed the dub, and nothing had been changed. It's supposed to be working the way it was. So they're looking in to see if anything else affected it. But as of right now, they can't find anything that has changed. So, you know, I had a streak, and I'm pretty sure Mark had a streak of like 50 that we got nothing for. I'm gonna
most people gave up on hitting dubs.
Yeah, I mean,
I've totally stopped. I've totally stopped.
I'm gonna try a little bit. Come probably next weekend, so I can refit something to be able to do them again, and try it and see if maybe it was a temporary thing and not, or maybe if that'll help them kind of narrow it down. I mean, me and Raken discussed a couple of possibilities, and I think he's gonna poke at the code and see what they find. But as of right now, you know, they did look from the last time we asked them. They did look. They have not found anything that's changed.
Okay. So, the second thing, and that's the one where I have to say the disclaimer before I share. It's entirely subject to change, but their plans for the next 3 raids, apparently, if nothing changes, is to, as for the top prize, to be 2 more Conqueror hulls and 1 Defender. We don't have more information. We don't know the order, which comes first. But we know their intention right now is to have 2 Conquerors and 1 Defender coming up in the next few raids.
Right, and I just want to make clear for everybody, because I don't want anyone coming back and yelling and screaming. This is what their intention is of today. As of today, that is what they're kind of planning. So through December, you know, October, November, December, there's going to be 3 main hulls that they're going to give out. 2 of them are going to be Conquerors. One's going to be a Defender. No idea which one's where or when, etc.
Now they may adjust, right? Let's say they decide to give up to offer the new PvE hull for the new raid cycle that starts in January. If they decide to give an early offer in December, then the Conqueror or the Defender won't be there. So that kind of thing can change, right?
Right. Something can bump, and honestly, you know, they might decide again because honestly, the Hell Wraith was a test. They might decide again in December it's a Hull raid. You know what? Let's give them the next raid's Hull, and they might have to change plans. I mean, that's why we say, I mean, we're kind of on a knife edge on whether or not we should share some stuff or not, because it can change, and the community honestly has not been.
It's volatile. It's volatile at the moment. We've got to be cautious. Yeah. Sometimes it's dangerous to say things if it doesn't pan out. So.
Yeah.
So guys, I have 4 slides for a base clinic. I don't know if we have time to do it or not. Should we do it or leave it for next week?
I liked them. Yeah,
I think we should do them. Good slides.
Go ahead and do them, Rand. It's fine. Got plenty of time.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Wait a second. Where the heck's my PowerPoint?
For the people, while Ren's just getting the screen ready, there's a few people in the YouTube chat a bit sort of unsettled by the idea of 2 new Conqueror calls. Guys, we have to bear in mind that with the PvP, PvE rebalance, PvP took a real hit. We only have, what, four base hitting holes at the moment?
Right now we have 4.
Yeah, that's the
for
smallest.
3-4 months we only had 1.
Exactly. I mean, that's the smallest category in the game. And you may as well discount revenges. So, guys, we're very low on base hitting holes. And for people that actually enjoy hitting bases, it's the most lacking part of the game. So please don't be too upset about it. There's holes everywhere except for in the garrison.
Yeah, and I want to actually add a little bit to that, because I'm pretty sure we can share this. I mean, Raken actually does have a plan for the Conqueror set. It's not going to be a cut and dried. Like, they don't want to have a one fleet can kill all thing, and they don't want to have a one base can defeat all things. So it's going to be kind of a balanced thing where, you can probably defend for this, but you can't really, like the old days where you could defend for one thing but not for everything. And if you had the fleets, you could do X, Y, and Z. The fleet builds have come down, so that way you have access to a lot of this stuff, and you can have either the mixed fleets that you're going to need to break a base, or a couple of fleets to one go in and prep and do this. I mean, it's not they're not coming out with a win button fleet anymore.
And that was a mistake last year. They're trying to now Raken's in as well. He's definitely trying to correct the mistakes from last year, where it was just like a point and click, and I'm the Superman for the next month at least until something comes and beats it again.
But that was pissing everybody off, because either you coin the hole in the first week and then you have 3-4 weeks to use it before there's a big counter against it.
Yeah.
Or you're always unable to play at the top level of the game. And now it's a bit
whole game was it was frustrating as hell.
Right. So there is.
So now
now
we're gonna have a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock dynamic.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yes.
So can you guys see my colorful slide here?
Yeah, I don't know how to lock onto you, so I mean.
I'm locking on. If you're ready to go, I'm locked on.
If you want to lock on my screen, you just click on my little icon at the bottom there.
No, you're locked on, buddy. You're locked on.
Yeah, no, for the stream, yeah, but just for George. So I built this, and not a lot of people. Some people are asking about, what kind of defense should I have on my base? So based on the 4 holes we have today, and I was waiting until the Fury was officially released to review this. So what you're looking at here is the main 6 damage types your base can deal at the top. The 4 Conqueror holes that can attack your base on the left-hand side. And whatever you see green is a good defense strategy. It's a bad attack strategy. And whatever you see red is a good offense strategy for the attacker, but it's a bad idea for your base. So if I lead with a revenge against a ballistic defense, I'll do well. The base will do poorly, right? Now, on the other hand, any other one of the holes, if they lead against ballistic, they're screwed because they have no defense. And to me, it was funny because as I was building this table here, I noticed that explosive. I mean, I went explosive big time when the Vendettas came out. But now I look at it, I'm like, all the other 3 holes can handle explosive no problem. So maybe I should shift my base more to ballistic than explosive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I see that the corrosive and concussive damage kind of hurt everyone to a level except concussive versus the retribution. So if you have to go up against a minigun or a ship with Gatling guns in base defense, the retribution is the ideal tank. So of course, a good base, I mean, when I look at this, I think, a good base should be dealing a lot of the first 3 damage types, right? So if you have a Gamma or a Punisher, you have blunderbusses, you have the minigun, you have Basilisk, or what's the name? Draconian Scattergun Turret. These are good, right? Explosive only, actually, I mean, Apox, for instance, they're only going to hurt the Vendetta. They're not going to hurt any other hull, right? The Executioners, they'll hurt the Revenge a little bit after a certain point if you have all the buffs and all the retrofits and all the tactical fire support, but they really hurt the Retribution, right? So trying to find that balance, I just put it out there, that may help people balance their turrets, see what they need, what they should have. If you have too much of something, you're probably not doing a good job defending, right? For instance, like Vanquishers are all the rage, but you look at Vanquishers, they're really good against one hull, and they do some damage against the Retribution, but they're not good against the Vendetta or the Fury, unless the Shockwave, and that means antipodes going back, right? Now, everything here kind of falls apart when you have weapons with very high salvo rate. So, for instance, some guys put rhinos at the back of their bases, and the rhinos fire at a very high rate. So even though those missiles are doing minimum damage against your attacker, just the sheer volume of them will hurt you, even though they're all doing minimum damage. So that's also a valid strategy, right?
Which is why it's always quite good to have the Hotlock Citadel in the back, because not only is it hitting you with explosive, it's also hitting you at a massive rate as well. Yeah,
so Harlock Citadels, Proto-Mastodons, I mean, they are great hulls, and they're old. Most people probably have them gathering dust somewhere in their dock. You put them in the back out of range, but their remote range, triggered by the Vanquishers, is actually a great idea because they'll be doing minimum damage at a very high rate, and in the end it piles up. Even if you look at this table and say, oh, that damage doesn't hurt that ship, but at a very high fire rate, like what is it, that new launcher, the Cyclone?
The Cyclone launcher, yeah.
Yeah, that's another one, very high rate of fire, so it works well. So then the next 3 slides are just 3 ideas. So when you look at this table and like, okay, so what should I build? So idea number 1, corrosive. It's on tier 4 of Forsaken Mission right now, the Draconian Scattergun. And if you don't understand multi-shot, just go and read the latest article George wrote in the blog, Specs blog, and it's there, the explanation of multi-shot. So this is a turret where, with the Transformer level 7 and that one special, the Hydroxide special, it deals almost 32,000 damage divided in 12 shots, pellets. So it's 2,600 damage per shot. You go back to the table, corrosive, if it's dealing 2,600 damage, it kills the Revenge, it deals over 1,000 against the Vendetta. Sorry, yeah. 100 against the Vendetta, about 100 against the Retribution, and 1,300 against the Fury. So, okay, that's a good weapon to have, right? It's going to be doing over minimum damage to every single one of them. Okay? It hits submerged, so it's a good strategy against subs, because your Vanquishers may detect the subs, but the launchers won't hit underwater. You put this turret in the right place, it will. If you don't have it, use the Basilisk, second best option. You guys want to say anything, chip in, comment?
No, I'm good with the turret. The turret's good. Yeah, I think the only thing, yeah, I mean, that one is a particularly one you want that one to last as long as you can. But obviously, based on the new special that's come out, the new
armor
that's come out in the FM this week, that's a hell of a lot of base defense points on that turret. But if you can spare it, that's the one to put it on.
I only have 2 of those in my base. They're limited blueprint, so these 2 I actually armor them as high as I can. And for instance, you can't do that with the Basilisk. The Basilisk, although it's weaker, it actually consumes more base power. So you can put 3 permacrits in there.
Right. Okay.
It's funny, but anyways, this is one that is on my front line. 2 of those, and I keep them as armored as I can. Yeah. And I left the second special blank on purpose. on my base, I have a special on that slot, but I left
Yeah, I was going to say
blank.
I do as well. That's what I was just looking. I've got a different special. I've got 2 specials, not 1. So
Yeah,
my middle.
I have 2 as well. So all I want to say here is I left it blank because the special you should use in there depends on your base layout and strategy. What I put in there, like you should really have the AT transformer. You should really have that 1 special. You should really have a lot of armor. That's the message, right?
Yep.
Now
Agreed.
the second special will be kind of up to you.
Yep.
Concussive, I think we only have 1 really good turret, it's the minigun. The minigun does 2,700 damage per shot. So if you go back to the table, concussive 2,700, it kind of beats everyone hard except the retribution, right?
Right.
That one winds up, so it keeps reloading ever faster and faster and faster. I use that 1 special that gives more damage and a lot more splash. It's, I think, up to you, and how much you want to armor, it's also up to you. But that one has a long range, so it gets to fire a lot before anything can be in range. So, but I armored it quite a lot on my base. If you don't have it, I mean, a Revenge with Gatling gun or a Gargoyle level 2 could be a second option, not as effective. I don't think, not nearly as effective. Go ahead.
I was just curious, is the damage per shot that you listed, is that the base damage per shot, or is that with the specials and everything that you got on it?
That's with the special and the transformer.
Okay. I just wanted to make that clear for everybody. Sorry.
Okay. The last thing that's very useful, a ballistic damage. Your base should be doing ballistic damage. The most effective way of dealing ballistic damage is not a turret, it's actually a ship, the Gamma Behemoth. You can get shards from dubs, although it's hard. Or last raid, they offered 5 shards. And they will offer them again, I believe, next raid. Again, subject to change, blah, 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 but should be there. If you don't have a Gamma, the second best option is a Punisher. And I say the Punisher because it also has 5 slots. And it has a good deflection. The Omega Behemoth actually vaporizes when you fire at it. So that's not your second best option. Don't follow the picture I have here. That's just for reference. But a mix of CT and CO armor. Preferably level 5 so you get more deflection. Pick the long-range cannons like Arbalest, Bypass, Chain Gun, Crossbow, and some Gales. It has all the buffs for Gales built in. You don't need a special for that. And on my base, I have instead of having the piercing shells, I have Resonance Battery because it's covered by fields, so it makes it more effective. And again, the final build for this will change for each person, I believe. But that's it.
Cool.
I like it. That's a good overview that people can use. Especially the chart. I think the chart was actually fantastic. I liked it.
It's going to be available on our page.
I was going to say that was one definitely to put up on the page without a doubt. That's good. Just before we log out, if you wouldn't mind, Liam, I just want to mention that on the page at the moment, we were talking about hitting dubs. And Caesar's put up a brilliant build. Have you seen it? Excuse me. It's on the TFC page. It's a real big.
Yeah, I did. He linked it to me and was all happy about it. It was great. I mean, it's definitely. I love the fact that he thinks outside the box like I do. We have so much fun with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be quite good just because it's old stock. So.
Yeah. I do. Can I actually mention something way late that I completely forgot that I probably should have? Because I know people are going to be. I can't. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll go in my corner.
Go on, you're in Liam's time.
The hives where you connect to. I know that they said, what did they say? They were around the dubs. They really are not. They're kind of in between the spaces from the dub and a drac base.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys are going to look, like Mark explains it better than I can, but I mean, I just want to make sure people aren't looking around going, where is the thing?
No, agreed. It's so if you imagine that if it's an interesting name for it, but basically if you imagine that's in the center of the screen, okay, and then basically just think the diamond formation like a harlequin, and if you put the Dirac bases around the outside of that harlequin, that base is going to be the center. I'm just going to quickly flick on the game and go out into the open sea. If I zoom right out, you might be able to see what I'm talking about, and then we'll close the show and that sort of stuff, because I know Liam is absolutely pooped. He's working ridiculous hours at the moment, so
sorry, I haven't been tremendously talkative tonight, guys.
Well, there you go. So that'll explain. I'll quickly share my screen, and I don't know how small this is going to come out, but there we go. Well, I'll just share it. Liam, if you just lock on there quickly, if you wouldn't mind, mate.
Yes.
So there you go. I can point out. So there's a base up there. Look, okay. There's another one over there, and you get this dead zone that's in the middle. So although the release note said it's attached to the it's not attached. Look, it's in the dead zone right in the middle of the area between basically a set of.
So pretty much, if you draw a vertical line covering two bases and a horizontal line covering two bases, is going to be at the intersection.
Yeah, it is. It is exactly that. Yeah, you can do the crossover. Look, top and bottom. There's one down there. There's another one up there, and obviously there's obviously where we get all our U from, and then obviously there's no one over there. So yeah, do an intersection of the four things, and you'll find out where it is. So, but it's not as it says in the thing. You expect to find it in the same location as you would expect to find the base parts, and it's not. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so the nexus is nowhere near where you may think it is automatically by reading the note. All right.
I just wonder what else they're going to put on the map to make it even more laggy for me.
Guys, just a little update as well. I know this is something we were talking about earlier in the show, and I think someone had suggested in the chat, and you guys were talking about it. So I did approach Raken about perhaps doing because I know there's so much information regarding mega holes. It's kind of like, even though they've done a video and there's been post after post, everyone still seems very confused about it. In fact, there's still a lot of information that I think I feel a little bit confused about. So I've asked Raken if he would be interested in doing like a one-on-one kind of interview where, like, I basically I'm going to interview him and ask him about Megaships, and he's going to explain it to me like I'm an absolute complete, never seen them before kind of player. And hopefully we'll also be running through like all Q&A as well, so we'll gather all the Q&A that you guys are coming up with as well, and so maybe do like an hour-long feature episode where it's just like an interview with Raken, and we just discuss all the mega hole stuff. So we're going to look to maybe do that Monday. So definitely stay tuned for that one.
That'd be good. And those questions that have come in so far to date, like Imri's questions, he sent me a whole pack of stuff, and that stuff has all gone in, and it has all been accumulated, and it is being worked off on their to-do list. They're sort of striking down and working through each task as it's coming in. So when people do send in these Q&A returns, they are actually getting looked at. I spoke to him about that today, and he went, "Oh yeah, we're working hard on that list that came in just the other day," and that was Imri's list. So the feedback may be slow, but it's not. It's because they're doing live tweaks as we go, because it's a live feature. So
okay, so guys, so that will be brilliant, guys. Is a one-on-one like interview, and Raken can really, because it's his baby, so hopefully from that episode we'll be able to get some great Megaship information for the community. I mean, that would be ideal. So okay, is that everything? Is everyone cool? We covered everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Well then, great. A great episode, and thanks everyone. You guys have been fantastic tonight, and thanks to everyone in the YouTube chat. You, even the ones that are taking a mick out of me, you've all been great.
Super sub driver.
Yeah. And we will see you on Saturday when I release some of my top sub driving tips for ranking my close score.
Take care, all.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Bye.